It's a brand new week of soccer. We are here as we are at Fifth Third Bank Stadium. It's a beautiful Sunday night wherever you may be. It is week number 6 of MLS Next Pro as Atlanta United 2 will score off with Philadelphia Union 2. And good evening, everyone. David Gascon here. Temperatures at 69 degrees. Happy to hang out with you tonight in Kennesaw, Georgia. A ripe day and a perfect one for balls. We take a look now at the standings of MLS Next Pro, where they are at right now, where they want to go. Atlanta United 2 and also Chicago Fire 2. They're back and forth. These two teams will get together as well. Philadelphia United 2 coming into this contest. The lone mark at 1-3-1. They have 5 points overall. Chicago Fire FC got beat by Atlanta just last week, and so that's why Atlanta has them by a point right now as things get into a brand new week of ball. We get to the starting lineups for both of these squads as well, but a picture-perfect day. Got to imagine with the weather not having an impact on this kind of affair, it should be a perfect day and a perfect setting for both these squads to excel and to get themselves into gear. Atlanta United 2 with a couple wins in the season, a couple losses, and 1 draw. On the flip side of things, Philadelphia Union 2, 1-3-1, have not fared well so far on the road, 1-2-1. And it's going to get a little tougher for them as well because they're winless in their 3 matchups against Atlanta United 2 all time. Atlanta sits with a 2-0-1 record, and the last time these two teams played was in USL Championship action back in 2020. A lot of that being said, we'll take a look at Atlanta United 2 starting lineup here today. Vicente Reyes will be in net this evening. He comes in with a record of 2-2. The 4 matches he has appeared in, all 4 starts. Goals against average right now sits at 1.5. The save percentage at .727. He's also got 1 clean sheet to his resume. And right now he's the go-to guy in net this evening for Stephen Cook. On the flip side of things for Philadelphia Union 2 coming into this game with a couple of losses under their belt, 1-3-1 to be exact, but they didn't fare well to open up the season. On the flip side of things, though, they come with Marlon LeBlanc as the leader of the technical staff. Andrew Rick will be in net this evening for Philadelphia Union 2, and you see Jeremy Raffanello is at the top slot here today when they go with that deployment of 4-2-3-1 alignment to counter Atlanta. Both these teams on the pitch right now finishing their warm-ups, and obviously you want to get this thing underway. Atlanta United 2 will be moving from right to left on your screen. Philadelphia Union 2 will be moving from left to right in their light blue uniforms today with a white combination, the black around the numbers and the letters as well. Lead official today, Luis Guardia, Marcus Moss, Albert Escobar. Sideline officials, and then their 4th official, Joshua Belk, will be handling things out with substitutions and also in stoppage time as well. Atlanta United 2 coming into this contest with a couple of victories and just 1 draw against Philadelphia. Of course, the pieces have changed throughout the years, so you're figuring some players have gone up to the senior squads, others have departed. Atlanta with the opening toss, and they get this thing underway, moving from right to left on your screen. Kickoff is controlled, and this broadcast presented by Piedmont. Andrew Rick getting the nod here today. Vicente Reyes on the opposing side for Atlanta. He's appeared in all except for one match so far this season. Both these coaches earlier in the week talking to the media about the development of their players, not only for now, but also the foreseeable future. It's one of a difficult spot when you have players from the senior club that are brought down. They get first priority, so it's about the other players in the academy that are growing, that are developing, and trying to make a name for themselves as well. But the ultimate goal is to get them up to the MLS Big Club. Easier said than done, of course, with all the firepower that's upstairs. This one peeled all the way back to Andrew Rick. Temperatures at kickoff, 69 degrees. A couple scattered clouds, but not a whole lot. Ray is on this one, and will eject it immediately right away. Philadelphia, they open up the season. They lost to Orlando, lost to Miami by a combined score of 5-2. And things got worse for them when they traveled to New England. New England got the better of them 5-1, so it was a shellacking for the first 3 weeks of the season. Got their first win of the year at Chicago, and that's much like what happened with Atlanta just last week. Atlanta taking apart Chicago Fire 2 in a 2-0 victory on the 22nd. Last week for Philadelphia, they played to a 3-3 draw with Toronto. A match in which they had some opportunities for Marlon LeBlanc to come away with a victory. Could not do so. It's the first ever encounter between these two squads when it comes to MLS Next Pro. Meaning a USL Championship, a different beast. But that's for another day. Here's Brennan on the outside. Luke trying to make a move. Can't catch the corner. Lost possession of it. Can't maintain it. Brennan so far in 5 matches has yet to score a goal, has 1 assist. But has logged nearly 400 minutes for Atlanta. And Steve Cook talked about his club as a whole. Feels like they have a good personality and they're a good practice team, which is important. Because you figure with the way that players come and they go with these rosters, it's important for the guys that are around to be fundamentally sound. This one evicted immediately. Nice play on the outside by Portela. Match is just a few minutes old. Glad you can be with us on Apple TV today. We'll be with you throughout the entire season, wire to wire in a long year. Lanza lost the handle on it, but he'll get it back on the throw-in. To Mimi, Lanza into the box. This one sprinkled away at the last second. Nice play by Odata. Back on the counter comes Philadelphia. They don't have numbers, but good transition into their step. That pass, though, given away at the last second. Raffanello thought he had coverage on the outside, but a vacant area, and it goes right to an Atlanta United 2 player. Mentioned the start for Philadelphia. On the other end for Atlanta, not as alarming when it comes to the wide margins of losses. They open up the year against New England, losing 3-2. Play to a 1-1 draw with New York. A week later, they lost to New York 2-0. And then they went on a brief 2-game winning streak. And that's what they're on right now. Handling Orlando City, beat 3-1. And then last week against Chicago Fire 2-0 was the outcome in that one. Nick Firmino is the one that you have to look out for in a contest like this. He's starting today up front for Atlanta. In 5 matches so far, he's got 5 goals. Obviously, in an outcome like this, he is going to be the one guy you must mark if you are Philadelphia. You want to walk away with a victory, or at least a point. But he leads the team in scoring, and yes, he leads MLS Next Pro in goals. Looked like a near illegal touch there. Aiden McFadden looking back at our lead official, Luis Guardia. Atlanta right now, 8th in the Eastern Conference, 7 points. And these two teams got together back in September of 2020. It was Atlanta that won that contest 2-1. And that'll be a giveaway back to Philadelphia. Atlanta's at least been good to open up the campaign. Goal differential for them, +1. But again, the season is just so young, you really can't take a lot from what these clubs are doing right now, where they want to go. Of course, the highlight is Firmino for Atlanta. I mean, those eye-popping figures with 5 goals and a handful of contests that really will catch the attention of many people near and far. Nice job by Morales weaving his way through some traffic. McFadden here. We'll have updated standings as the day goes along. Also got a nice package for the week that was of MLS Next Pro at the break. Take a look at a wild Friday night with Austin FC and Minnesota United FC 2. It's a lot of things to capture. Nice bit of jogging for positioning. Tiente, excuse me. And that'll be offside. Far set official with the arm and the flag up. Both these squads with a decent amount of time off, so no rest for the weary. They're not going to be beat up. We take a peek at this again. It was about a mile offside. But nevertheless, Atlanta trying to break that final leg. Bordella out wide. And that was given away. Rasco, the intended target, going off of his foot. Back the other way, though. Diente. Atlanta pursuing. Going down on a heap. No foul. They continue to play on. Tamimi was down the middle of the pipe. Could not get that ball, and McFadden couldn't hold it in. Vasquez with pretty good positioning there. So these clubs have had some time off. Philadelphia played a week ago. Atlanta, if you want to be precise, 8 days ago. That's been the model so far here in MLS Next Pro. They started a couple weeks after everyone else around the country. MLS action, USL Championship, and consistent with USL League One. A brand new season opportunity for players to develop and, of course, grow. Vasquez couldn't get that one cleanly. Out wide pursuit. So no shots in this contest from either side, but both teams trying to feel each other out. At the same time, just get plenty of touches and find a rhythm early on. Vasquez almost had a beat on it. Morales there to get it out of harm's way. Odata on the intercept. Philadelphia trying to press now. Movement with the ball. Rasco causing some havoc in the middle of the pitch. And we'll have a free kick set up here about 35 yards out from target. Odata hunched over. You can see the congestion there in the middle of the pitch right now. Players getting together. Umasi in the middle of all that. And we'll see who takes this. See who takes this free kick. Craig is there. As you can notice, the wind picking up. There wasn't wind the last 30 or 40 minutes. Now there's a pretty decent breeze pushing from left to right. About 35 yards out. This service getting a right hand on it. Nicely done was Reyes. Occurring here in the 11th minute. So nice strike on target, and Reyes able to elevate, keeping this match scoreless. Line drive, not the best service that was deployed there. It looked like Philadelphia was going to work short, and they did not do so. That's going to be ruled offside. So Westfield not on the same page, and maybe some brief miscommunication there. Looked like Raffanello and company trying to work too quick, not thinking about what they're doing. So an unforced turnover there. Most of the starters who went for Atlanta against Chicago back amongst the 11. And coming all the way out, Andrew Rick escaping his 18. And tell you what, he's fortunate enough that Atlanta didn't put that ball in the back of the net. That's a foul going to be called. And we've seen keepers so far in MLS Next Pro be a little bit more loose with their activity, not as conservative as they might be at the higher level, but you know, this is an area where you can take chances, work things out, and see if you can put the opposing team's back line on edge. So navigate it around. Vasquez trying to hold on to it. Another whistle on another foul. Tumasi a little upset with the lead official, Luis Guardia. Not giving any kind of real estate right now. So this one from nearly the identical spot in the previous free kick where Reyes made the stop. This one a line drive and it missed the net by a good 5 feet. So tell you what, at least anything for Philadelphia trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Tumasi, as you see there in the tie-up, Vasquez asking for the foul, and he eventually got it. Tumasi looking around in straight disgust. And shortly after that, Raffanello missed on the free kick going wide to the right side. So Raffanello twice so far has had touches, but unable to do any kind of damage with it. The first one was on target, sailing up and away, and Reyes was able to sky up and knock it out. Resulted in a corner kick. All the way back and tracking it, Westfield pitches it back to Andrew Rick. Take a look at this combination again with Raffanello, and yeah, you just love to have a better effort. It's a great shot from our guys there, nearly the middle of the pitch. And Raffanello, you're trying to get around the wall, and there's two ways to do that. Obviously going over or going from left to right or right to left. This one played through in search of Raphael, picked off by Noah Cobb. It's a great play by Cobb, keeping his head up all the way. Firmino on a pursuit. Nick Firmino pulls the trigger. Nice stop by Andrew Rick. Firmino again. He's waiting for some company. Alvarez trying to flag him down. Take a peek at this again. We mentioned at the top of the show, Firmino, 5 goals in the season. That one straight on target, and Andrew Rick, all you had to do was knock it down in front. That's exactly what he did. You'd love it as a keeper, though, if you can put your paws on it and keep it covered. No attempt for a rebound. Or if you're going to punch it away, do so in a harmless area. Anything over the middle of the pitch, bad news. First corner kick of the day, though, for Atlanta. We'll see if they can do anything with it that's worthwhile. Morales inside the 18. That one quickly removed from Castillo, who got the head on it. Again, this one bending around. Nicely done, though, by Westfield on that far side. Elevating, not wasting any kind of time. The creativity, though, from at least Atlanta's perspective, spot on. McFadden working quickly, gets it back. McFadden, poor service there, and that's going to go. It should result in a corner kick, and it does. A little bit of a delay there, but Craig tried saving it to no avail. Everyone looked discombobulated in that moment. But now here's McFadden. hear the wind humming and blowing. McFadden, high arcing delivery. That one on the outside. That right-footed punch on the way from Centeno. Hit a wall on the way through. McFadden again, trying to split two defenders. Not a wise decision. Gets it back though. Nicely done by McFadden. McFadden juking two defenders, working hard. Can't maintain possession though, as Westfield doing a good job of not giving up on the play. Wind gust now pushing up at 21 miles per hour. So yeah, it is humming up quite a bit. Raffanello, nice step. Jeremy tries to elude another defender. He gets dropped. Diente is the one that subdued him. Take a peek at this again. Diente, get that right leg up, and dangerous with Raffanello attacking and going downhill. Seen a couple nice plays from the ball handlers of both Philadelphia and Atlanta. McFadden on one end for Atlanta, Raffanello on the other end for Philly. Raffanello getting up gingerly, but he appears to be okay. There's certain players that have jump in their step from the opening sequences, and Raffanello is one of them. Craig here, working to the left side. That header volleyed around, cleared out for the time being. Firmino over the shoulder, he switches the pitch. Andrew Rick out nearly 50 yards to play that ball. 19th minute. A shot from each keeper on target, both with relatively easy routine stops. Philadelphia with a couple of shots, Atlanta with one, each team with a shot on goal. Possession right now is controlled by Atlanta at 66%. We're still young into this story, but Atlanta doing a good job of moving the ball around the pitch and getting their playmakers plenty of touches. With at least a week off between activity, be curious to see if Marlon LeBlanc and Steve Cook are active when it comes to the reserves, whether you're getting into the 70th or 75th minute. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but there's just so much action to be had. Players with plenty of activity. And good enthusiasm tonight. So you're figuring players in this contest will try to go for as long as they can for a full 90 and then some. Now, unlike many of the leagues, MLS Next Pro is not decided in full time if it's a tie. Got extra time, and it's going to be offside. Again, Luke Brennan streaking down that right end. If it does end full time in a draw, we'll have extra time, and then if need be, penalties will decide the winner. So it's one of the benefits. I misspoke, excuse me. Penalties is the deciding factor, not extra time. Stoppage time, yes. Extra time now. But it's quick, it's easy. And something that can be well taken care of just to decide a winner and provide a team, at least with a couple points early on. Brennan again, coming out's Andrew Rick. We've had a few matches so far that have been settled in extra time. One that comes to mind, Columbus and New York Red Bulls too. They played their first contest of the season, and that was decided in penalties. Vasquez. David with a nice move. Looking for reinforcements. Out wide Westfield pushes this thing forward and into the attacking third. Nice move to Vasquez, one touch. Vasquez with some real estate, tries to pivot. He shoots, a nice stop by Reyes. That was telegraphed, and Reyes not caught off guard. He was leaning towards this right, and Vasquez took him there. We look at this again. Raffanello with a great feed over to Vasquez, but you see the movement in Reyes. Great job being on his toes, not on his heels. The gatekeeper, if you will, for Atlanta with an easy stop. No rebound. The match is still scoreless. Firmino jostling for position with Portela. Those two players colliding. Brennan picked it up, gave it away. Fans a little rambunctious here in Fifth Third Bank Stadium, asking for fouls, not getting any calls their way. Rasco out wide, Olney, and jumping on this is Reyes. Well, Raffanello was on the right wing, but he was heavily marked by Morales. So a good play, at least for Morales, not conceding anything and making sure he's not falling asleep. And if there's one guy on the pitch for Philadelphia you don't want to miss, it's Jeremy Raffanello. Into the 25th minute. Morales tries to force this one forward, Centeno. Portela wearing that mask over his face, covering the bridge of his nose. Atlanta riding a 2-game winning streak right now, outscoring the opposition 5-1. One guy that's been on fire too with the 5 goals this year, Nick Firmino. He scored in his last 2 affairs. Scored twice against Chicago last week and then had one against Orlando City B. And he's been all over the map, hasn't he? Bad pass. Centeno was the intended target. Nice move, Olney. Settling it down, waiting for some reinforcements. Olney, ooh, I think he was looking for Vasquez, who was coming from behind the trailer, but he was cut off. Nice job, Odada, holding on to that. Rasco couldn't hold on to it. And now it comes all the way back to Andrew Rick. This portion of the broadcast is presented by Burnt Hickory Brewery. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Sunday night, Apple TV. Providing you MLS Next Pro action, wall-to-wall coverage throughout the year. As we're live right now from Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. It was a comfortable day until about 5 minutes after kickoff. And then all of a sudden the wind started picking up. The gusts blowing out at 21 miles per hour. And we've had a few moments on both sides for Philadelphia and Atlanta. Nobody able to crack the code just yet. Vasquez, a chip. Reyes there. So that ball just hanging out in the air comes sailing into Reyes. A couple guys have been dangerous so far for Philadelphia. Jeremy Raffanello, Nick Firmino as well. Firmino scored twice last week against Chicago, twice against Orlando City. McFadden trying to get around the edge against Westfield, but Westfield calm and cool and collected, and Rick throws this one out of harm's way. Firmino. Lazy pass picked off. Numbers for Philadelphia. Raffanello, that ball could not get to him. Noah Cobb again with a nice wipeout play. Noah Cobb has done that twice now so far, where Philadelphia's had numbers. And broken up two passes that would have provided Philadelphia with an odd man rush all alone on Vicente Reyes. Centeno with elbow. Brennan gets it back. Brennan goes down. Sold that one pretty well. See the set piece now in the 30th minute. It looked like Atlanta had something that they could have used about 10 yards in front of where they were at. Here's McFadden. Centeno turns the corner. Centeno with a burst gets taken down inside the 18. No foul being called, though. Luis Guardia says nothing doing. Wow, Centeno appears to be okay, though. Looked a lot worse initially, doesn't it? Typically the case. Shoulder checking. Clean play, and then all of a sudden getting pushed. Riasco and McFadden. This should result in a booking, and it is. It's a yellow card for both players. Well, I'll tell you what, Riasco was the one that hogtied McFadden. That was a lot worse than what's being issued here. The jostling is one thing, shoulders on one end to the other, and McFadden just using a box-out move. Riasco throwing him straight down like that, uncalled for. No reason to do that. I get the frustration and the fact that you want to play physical, but at least Guardia could have provided a more severe punishment to Riasco. So yellow cards provided to both players in the 31st minute. First of the day on both sides. So something to be aware of. Aggression is one thing. It's always nice, but now you have to somewhat err on the side of caution. Otherwise, your day will be over with. McFadden here. Cobb played well defensively. That header softly goes on goal against Andrew Rick. Quickly Rick on the counter. And back comes Philadelphia. Vasquez out wide to the right. and he can't get to it. Pass a little soft and a little slow from Riasco. Back comes the other way. Firmino with a step. Firmino, see if he pulls the trigger. He can't. That's a good move defensively again. I'll tell you what, Alvarez was there to break it up on this sequence. Had some crafty plays by the defense of both squads. Here's Raffanello. Has Vasquez. Vasquez missed touch there. That pass a little too soft and behind Vasquez. Otherwise, he would have a clean look at target. Raffanello potentially got away with one there. Umasi, who goes down on a heat. Volleyed around. Riasco was inside the 18. Westfield, the header over on the right side. Vasquez. See if David can maneuver. Bends this one into the box. Riasco trying to settle it down. That shot just missed by Olney. Oh, he missed it by a hair. A golden opportunity from in close. Well, sigh of relief for Reyes, but take a look at this insert. Ball was intended for Riasco, and Riasco did a great job of just being casual with that header over to his right-hand side. And Olney, you're not going to get a better look than that. He knew it. Everyone on the pitch knew it. Still scoreless. McFadden on the touch. Firmino. Tough combination here. It'll be a throw on Craig with a near intercept. McFadden trying to hold off Vasquez. Been some strong play on both ends of the pitch, offensively and defensively for both clubs. Tell you what, coaching staffs have to be pleased with not only the creativity, but also the spirit on the defensive end. So one of the things that Steve Cook talked about this week with his club was not necessarily focusing on the strength that they have, but making sure that they're level across the board. This one played through. Firmino couldn't get to it. Tied down and pushed forward. Raffanello working hard, has no numbers though. Riasco takes the shot on goal. Reyes with a good stop there. Riasco trying to test the keeper, who had the angle. See Riasco, just not a lot of real estate. And Noah Cobb coming in at the last second to make sure it was one shot and done. Match right now is even across the board when you look at it outside the possession category. Atlanta holding a decent sized lead there at 59% to 41. But the shots are even right now at 3-3. On target, 2 apiece. Yes, it has been physical. Riasco and McFadden each with yellow cards in the 31st minute. Firmino, Centeno against Westfield. Westfield trying to saw him off, and Centeno's asking for a little bit of help from the lead official. Not going to get it though. Kumasi had that one stripped. Nicely done by Vasquez. Portela pushes it out wide. Olney. Castillo. One. Gave it up to Raffanello, and he gets it right back. So everything on the sidelines for both squads defensively, they look to trap whoever's possessing the ball and depossess as quickly as they can. They don't let the opposing team operate at good length at all. Raffanello could have turned around there to fire, but elected not to. Olney, he does, he pulls the trigger, but that thing is airmailed and well wide. Tell you what, at least with Christopher Olney, he's not wasting any time. He sees an angle, and he's shooting. He's firing all the way. But he knew as soon as it went off his left foot that it had no chance. And the body language says it all, spinning and turning and going the opposite way. Fortunate Odada there. Not called for a yellow card, but did get called for a foul there. Mother Nature and the sun playing games with us. The clouds and then now the sun showing its face. Trying to warm things up a little bit on the pitch. About 6:45 to 7:00 on the East Coast. Tiente pushing forward. Firmino with a step. Firmino tries to settle it down. Firmino looking for number 6. That shot on goal finds Twine. Tamimi on the outside got a perfect pass from Firmino, and all he had to do was wind it up. He does, and it lands on the board for the first time today. It's 1-0. Well, when you're that deadly of a striker like Firmino is, all eyes are on him, but you see the convergence of the defense. And Tamimi on the right-hand side, he had one move, and that's all he needed. Andrew Rick had no chance on it. And for Tamimi, buries it. Right-hand corner, made no mistake about it. 1-0 Atlanta. Well, the danger of one player opens things up for everybody on the board. And Tamimi, who just drilled that shot, gives Atlanta the advantage. It's 1-0. And for Tamimi, it's his first goal of the season. Firmino with the assist. That's his first assist of the year. So now we'll see if there's a counter from Philadelphia. Firmino coming into this contest. Makes the most of his opportunities. Came in with 5 goals on 8 shots on target. And we're at this point in the match where it's brought to you by Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Kareem Tamimi, his first goal of MLS Next Pro. Firmino with the helper on it. It's 1-0 ATL. They've taken their chances and tried to stretch the defense of Philadelphia. Numerous occasions called offside. But they test and test and test, and finally they got an answer. So it gives the fans, young and old, something to cheer for. So we take a peek at this again. It's all about the buildup, right? It's the setup in the defensive end, and all of a sudden Firmino, who had a moment there where he could have taken a shot, elected not to, and saw the step, though, which was nicely done by Tamimi. You see him back up for a brief moment and then pull that on the right-hand side. No chance, though, for Andrew Rick. And it was Tamimi that does the damage, but Firmino, make no mistake about it, is the table setter there. So it's 1-0 as we're near the end of the first half. Corner kick coming up here for Philadelphia. Let's see how they manage things for Marlon LeBlanc. This one played through a line drive. Bicycle a kick, and that attempt just catches skull. Oh, time and place for everything. And that's just a dangerous moment. Medical staff will need to come out. As you see Francis Westfield giving a tap and can't see who's down for Atlanta that took that shot. Take a look at this. Just slowing it down. Oof. That's tough, and Westfield obviously not trying to do that by any means. Umasi is the one on the deck. So Westfield with a yellow card. Second booking of the match for Philadelphia today. Riasco earlier and now Westfield. Go back to this, and yeah, Westfield didn't even have the proper angle on that to put it on target.
Philadelphia Union 2, yellow card in the 44th minute, number 39.
So the 44th minute is where the booking comes for Westfield. Understand the creativity and bang, though, that shot.
Official has indicated it will be a minimum of 2 minutes.
Mosi was the one that wore it. But he's a gamer. He got up and he's okay. He continues to play on as we've been provided 2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes on the clock. At the very least, of course. So now the physical activity is ramped up over the last 5 minutes. Luis Guardia looking on as Castillo was the one on the deck. Shots right now 6-4 in favor of Philadelphia. Each team has 3 of them on net. But the troubling part with Philadelphia's game has been, well, you guessed it, concessions. They gave up 5 in the first 2 weeks of the season and then gave up 5 alone in week 3 at New England. So they've given up 15 goals so far. And you're only looking at 5+ weeks. That includes today's activity. We're not done yet. Nice play by Vasquez. Guys make some things look extremely easy. Riasco here in pursuit of an equalizer. Riasco. The service was not good, and Vasquez would tie up with Tumasi. Seen a few players here for Philadelphia have gotten a bit too hot. Figuratively speaking, not literally. And that'll do it for the opening half. Luis Guardia blowing the whistle, indicating the Fells will take a break. 45 minutes in the books here from Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. The lone marker so far in this thing, Kareem Tamimi, scoring his first goal of the season. The assist, Nick Firmino, doing all the damage that they can. They had 4 shots in the first half, 3 of them on target, 6 for Philadelphia, but nothing past Vicente Reyes just yet. We're at the break right now. Atlanta leads Philadelphia 1-0. And now we have a brief moment. Time to flip you back of the Match Day Rewind. Ladies, take it away.
Match Day 5 saw upsets, streaks ended, shootouts, a lot of them, and so much more. Alongside Samara Perez, I'm Michelle Montaigne with all of the highlights from a crazy week of play.
Speaking of upsets, Crown Legacy FC delivered another one this weekend. This time over the defending MLS Next Pro champs Columbus Crew 2. Striker Patrick Ajimong made the most of a first half break, scoring the game winner and his first of the season in the 23rd minute. With the win, the new kids on the block leapfrogged from 3rd to 1st in the Eastern Conference standings and extended its winning streak to 4.
Back-to-back braces for Atlanta United 2's Nick Firmino resulted in back-to-back wins for the club. His 2 goals this week led ATL United 2 to a win over Chicago Fire FC 2, their second win in as many weeks, following a 3-game winless streak to open the season. Firmino has 5 goals so far on the season, the most in the league, making him a very early Golden Boot favorite. Following closely behind is a 5-way tie for second place with 4 goals apiece.
Down in Houston, we saw a rematch of last year's Western Conference final. Surprisingly, a similar storyline played out. Roberto Avila put Dynamo 2 ahead with a penalty, and Tacoma Defiance's first goal also came from the spot again. In the end, it was Wade Weber's squad who managed to steal the 3 points thanks to an epic 90th minute comeback goal from defender Gio Miglietti. The 2-1 win marked the Defiance's first win on the road this season.
And across the league, MLS Next Pro saw a historic day, 8 teams taking part in 4 shootouts. It's only the 4th time in the Young League's history that there have been 4 or more shootouts in a single match day. In the West, St. Louis City 2 ended Rapid 2's perfect run, winning the shootout 5-4, following a scoreless match. It was the first time this season Rapids 2 had been kept off the scoreboard during regulation. Galaxy 2 also managed a 5-4 advantage over Austin FC 2 in their shootout. Philadelphia Union 2 saw the same shootout total favor the home team after 3 different players scored for both Union 2 and TFC 2 in regulation. Rounding out the shootouts was maybe the most dramatic of them all, Orlando City B taking an 8-7 shootout win over New York City FC 2, following a game that head coach of OCB, Marquine Perelman, described as tough as a match.
They are a good team. They have too much time playing together. They have a good organized game play. So there were moments in the first half, especially that I really like the team, the way that we play.
Well, the way they've played has them still unbeaten at home.
Matchday 5 had remarkable performances all across the league. You can catch all the highlights on MLSNextPro.com. Michelle and I will be back soon with more content, so stay tuned.
Ladies, thank you very much. Our first half highlights and a recap of Friday's lone match are coming up. But sticking with last week, we saw 3 players in the brace and some clutch match-winning goals in stoppage time. Melissa tells us what else was best for Match Day 5, and this week's edition of the Spotlight. Melissa?
Following a historic weekend of MLS Next Pro, we're highlighting all the players that stood out following Match Day 5. Getting us started is your MLS Next rising star of Matchday 5, and it's a guy who knows how to make an entrance. Inter Miami CF2's Cesar Abadia Herrera, the Inter Miami 2 Academy player affectionately called Cheche, scored just 20 seconds after being subbed onto the pitch. His impressive dribble around multiple Huntsville City FC defenders set up a solid strike right past the keeper to give his club the first lead of the second half, one they would not give up. He was one of 2 academy players to score for Inter Miami CF2 en route to their first win in 3 weeks. The MLS Next Pro Player of Matchday 5 is a very deserving goalkeeper in the spotlight, Ryan Belichick. The Timbers 2 keeper registered 7 saves in the team's first clean sheet and their first win of the season. The performance also earned the 22-year-old his first professional victory. And the cherry on top of it all, his parents were there to see him in person for the first time in his professional career. As for the best goal of Matchday 5, well, that goes to his Timbers 2 teammate Selmir Miscic. He booted a laser past a wall of LAFC 2 defenders off of a free kick in the 32nd minute and placed the ball perfectly in the bottom left corner, right beyond the reach of the keeper. The goal garnered almost 50% of the fan vote in the poll. Miscic's strike was one of 2 Portland posted on the day to help the squad earn their first win of the season. Rounding out the honors, the team of Matchday 5 is none other than Vancouver Whitecaps FC2. It's been a long time coming for this team, especially based on the way they've started out this season. Following their Matchday 5 performance, they are now the league leader in goals with 15 over 5 matches. And that's thanks in large part due to posting the largest goal differential of the day in a 5-2 win over Minnesota United FC2 at home that saw 5 different players find the back of the net. A big shout out to all of this week's Spotlight honorees. The competition keeps getting more and more intense. We're expecting that to continue when we bring you next week's honors.
Melissa, thank you very much. Friday night, the Western Conference leaders were at home as Austin FC2 hosted Minnesota United FC2. After a 3-hour delay for hail and thunderstorms, James Hadnot got us started in match day 6.
For Austin FC2, just share with me how Birarwanga attacks the match. 6th straight match on the road in this 4-2-3-1. And at the top is Patrick Way. A false first kick. So we'll have to tango again. And let's dance here in Austin. Sheikh Toure, a little cute, almost loses the ball. And now the ball is lost. Weah, and the shot is blocked by Damian Loss. Emmanuel Iwe was right there. Find their first. Now turning is Weah, slips it to Pacheco, and Minnesota finds its first. A collision. Emmanuel Johnson ends up with it, takes the shot, and ties the match. Burton taking his time and slots it low and away. Leatherman has it blocked by Damian Loss, and Austin takes the penalty shootout. Damian Loss with the stop.
So that's what it was, and this is what's going to be on tap as well as we look at MLS Next Pro action. Right around the corner, they continue on Friday. Columbus Crew 2, Huntsville City FC, Tacoma, and Real Monarchs. They'll be the nightcap at 10 o'clock Eastern. Saturday, just one match with New York and New England going toe-to-toe. That'll be a fun one at 5 o'clock Eastern. Then Inter Miami, Atlanta United 2 will square things up at 6:30 Eastern on Sunday evening. Whitecaps, Houston Dynamo 2 will wrap up another week, week 7 of MLS Next Pro. So that is all that on tap. And here today, Atlanta with 1 goal. They can count right now as they lead Philadelphia by a count of 1-0. We'll show you how we got here because Vicente Reyes and Andrew Rick, both keepers in net today for the respective clubs, have been busy. Reyes with an easy stop there as he made it look like on target from Raffanello. Back the other way, Nick Firmino had his attempt towards target punched away by Andrew Rick. This would be indicative of how the first half had gone. Raffanello on one end, Firmino on the other, trying to create for the respective clubs. Philadelphia, who outshot Atlanta in the opening half, had numerous attempts towards target, but Vicente Reyes has been stout. He's also been reading the ball well off the strikers of Philadelphia. You see his positioning here, on his toes, and Vasquez, who tried bending it in with his left foot, denied as Reyes was ranging from left to right. Physicality has been a thing of nature here in the opening half. 31st minute, Jose Riasco, Aiden McFadden tying each other up, exchanging some pleasantries, not really connecting on Facebook, I would imagine. Both players with yellow cards in the 31st minute, Riasco and McFadden. That was the first for either side here on the afternoon. And then the closing minutes of the opening half, Philadelphia trying to strike first. Vasquez again, bending this one forward. Riasco, after the yellow card, settles this down nicely and only with the right foot. Tries to go the long way upstairs and misses the target. Again, this attempt from Olney in Philadelphia at a dangerous spot, and it came back to bite him. Firmino on a stretch pass, settles it down with his left, comes over the left-hand side to Mimi, takes one jab step with his left, cuts to the right, pockets it, right-hand corner against Andrew Rick, and it's 1-0 Atlanta through 45 minutes of play. So Atlanta getting on the board, drawing first blood. Philadelphia will have to counter. As we take a peek now at the first half stats in this affair, it's been sort of even, right? You look at the scoreboard at 1-0 possession, favoring Atlanta. Shots, though, 6-4 in favor of Philadelphia. On target, they're even. The corners are even. Fouls, pretty much level. And the accuracy, passing-wise, has been pretty clean on both ends of the course. Yellow cards, one on each side. And no red cards just yet. But of course, you never know. Players have had a lot of excitement through the first 45 minutes. We'll see if anything carries over into the second half. Both teams are on the pitch right now, ready to get this thing back underway. Atlanta coming into this contest with a couple wins of the season through 5 affairs, 2-2-1. Philadelphia on the other end of the column, sitting at 1-3-1. We are back live here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. Glad you can be here with us on a Sunday night. It's a comfortable day with a brand new week, match day 6 of MLS Next Pro. So we certainly appreciate you hanging out with us on the day. Couple teams that have been far and away better than everybody else. Crown Legacy FC having 13 points so far, 4 victories, not a single loss and 1 draw. New England with 12 points. Orlando City B with 11. This is all in real time, so obviously things can change. If they stand right now, Atlanta would move up to 4th in the Eastern Conference. Looks like we'll have a couple substitutions. Looks like Valero is in for Philadelphia. that is the case. Second half commences. Philadelphia going from right to left. Atlanta from left to right. See Valero in, Alvarez out. It's the first substitution for either side on the day. Didn't hear a whole lot from Pedro Alvarez on the evening. The 45 minutes that concluded was fairly clean outside of a couple physical moments, but good excitement from both ends. So you talk about adjustments, not a whole lot need to be made. Riasco positioning, gave it away. Centeno with a nice spin move. Get some of the fans to ooh and to ah. So you think about what kind of adjustments the technical staffs need to make in this contest. For Steve Cook, probably not a whole lot. The club has been relatively clean, if you will. They've gotten in trouble a few times, but Vicente Reyes has bailed them out. On the other end, if you're Marlon LeBlanc, you want your team to improve on the possession category. Continue to stretch the defense. And I would imagine taking more shots. Not that they had a lack of thereof in the opening half. 6 shots, 3 of them on target. Shoulder tugging. Jersey pulling. Looked like Craig the guilty party there. And that was the case. Philadelphia, after this contest, will take on New York. And then they get Inter Miami. So they're on the road for the next 3. That includes today. On the other side of the ledger for Atlanta, they get Inter Miami on May the 7th. And then Crown Legacy FC a week later. So that'll be fun. See exactly where you're at. Riasco, nice touch on the right-hand side, but broken up. Not a lot of steam on it. Raffanello was the intended target. But backtracking nicely, Tiente. Riasco here. Pass over the left-hand side. Olney, he would have been offside, so he had to lay off of it. No step there. Physicality continuing here in the second half. It wasn't like this in the first 15 to 20 minutes, but the fellas have certainly ramped it up, haven't they? Firmino looking for Brennan. Firmino, Brennan on the right-hand side takes a step in. Brennan looking for a little bit of space. Diente. A little too much sauce on it. Atlanta at least doing their thing to keep it in bounds. Firmino operating in tight quarters. John Lanza amongst the starting 11 here today. Did not start last week against Chicago. Riasco doing a good job of backtracking. Olney. Tell you what, Riasco has been all over the pitch today for Philadelphia. Olney trying to set things up for his teammates. Olney With the sun setting, the glare could be an issue. The sight could be potentially off for Vicente Reyes, the keeper for Atlanta. So we're going to keep an eye on that. As you see the shade to his left, our right, can definitely be a factor. Tiente trying to counter things for Atlanta. Brennan's on the right-hand side, now into the box. Centeno. Vasquez converging with Westfield. Westfield taking that away. 51st minute. Can hear a little bit of the communication on the pitch. Players were chirping a bit for a while in the first 45 minutes. Temperature, though, has cooled off for these players. Brennan, who had it, quickly on the restart, and they go. There's Luke Brennan working against Portela. Brennan. Pass just behind a late feed. Brennan the right concept, but poor execution there. Tiente as he gets dropped. Expected goals on each side, nowhere near one yet. That's part of the reason why you don't read too deep into the figures. Each team has had quality looks towards target. Philadelphia 6 shots, Atlanta 4. Each of them with 3 shots, and all 3 of the shots that have gone on target have been inside the 18. Not a heads-up play by Valero at all. Let's see Riasco using his size. It's a good job by Riasco, and see if Atlanta trying to bait him into another yellow card, ending his day. Portela. The chip is falling over that, Odata. Fortunate enough, he didn't roll his ankle in that situation. Brennan here, pushing it forward. Again, it doesn't matter if it's Brennan, Firmino, or Tamimi. Everybody up front for Atlanta trying to stretch that back line against Philadelphia. They've made it work once. No, Cobb smelling some danger with Riasco breathing down his neck. Gets that thing away, only here. Ooh, difficult challenge there from Odata. Two of them, in fact. Valero was one of them, Odata the other one. You see who gets this yellow card. There could have been 2 issued here. Let's go back to this sequence. Musgardia So Valero there, and then that's one, and then Odata there on the cleanup.
Atlanta United 2 substitution in the 55th minute. Exiting the match, number 38, Sean Lanza. Entering the match, number 3, Fawad Adenini. Philadelphia Union 2, yellow card.
Adenini coming into the contest, replacing Lanza. Adenini rocking number 3. The native from London, England. So move here by Steve Cook. One by Philadelphia, now one by Atlanta. Oh, again, Rasco going up, and
Yellow card is credited to number 38, Mikey Villero.
Rasco fortunate enough that he was not called for a second yellow card. Noah Cobb down the deck. There was no intent there. Take a look at this again. Cobb wearing it. Reyes here. And Morales. Philadelphia trying to extend themselves. Force a trap and a turnover, and they nicely did that. Odata. Centeno with a good job. Odata trying to win a corner kick here. On that far side boundary, Odata had it for a moment, lost it, and gave it up. And that's going to be a throw-in for Atlanta. At this point in the match, broadcasts were presented by Piedmont. 58th minute. Look forward to tonight's man of the match as well. We'll have an acknowledgement on who that might be, whether it's for Philadelphia or Atlanta. Kareem Tamimi, the early leader out of the clubhouse. Olney with the cross. That one was dangerous. Morales doing a good job of shielding Rasco. Of course, the keepers, Andrew Rick, Vicente Reyes, also going to get some attention for their performances so far. Firmino, Raffanello. It's been well played. Raffanello trying to settle it down. He can't, though. Humasi with a great intercept, and back comes Atlanta. Odata will slow things down, though, with a foul. So now here in the 60th minute, 2/3 of the way through, and Philadelphia's been neck and neck with Atlanta. It's been about as even as it can be. Got a little bit of a stoppage and get this thing back rolling. Again, after this match, Atlanta will take on Inter Miami 2.
Entering the match, number 23, Nelson Pierre. Also exiting the match, number 98.
Nelson Pierre coming into the contest for Philadelphia. Back the other way, Kumasi. Right side, Brennan. Brennan tried to insert it. He couldn't just yet. So 2 announcements. You get a chance to grab them just yet, but now the official public address announcer, I beg your pardon, announcing Nelson Pierre comes in along with Stefan Stojanovic. Stojanovic playing in a handful of matches so far, along with Nelson Pierre. Marlon LeBlanc trying to uncrack this defense of Atlanta, but right now they're too busy defending. McFadden. Firmino. Was nicely kicked away by Portello. He wasted no time with that. Firmino. Tiente. Over the left-hand side, that cross. Bad feed, though. Craig was able to get in front of it in time. Diallo is also in for Philadelphia. So 3 players just announced. Diallo, Stojanovic, and Pierre. So Dada's day is over with. Valero the foul there. Didn't like the call. Now we've had 4 substitutions for Marlon LeBlanc. Oh, played this one through, and Tamimi thought he had an open crease for a teammate. Looked like Brennan was open for a moment, just not on the same page. Olney slides that one through, intercepted though, nicely done by McFadden. Aiden's been extremely busy on the day, offensively and defensively. You figure things might calm down a bit now with Riasco out, but we'll wait. Stojanovic, large in stature, and there he is now. Castillo with a poor feed. Here's Brennan on the counter. Firmino, head up. Good job by Firmino to create on his own. Opens up that space, puts it in the 18. That one played away by Craig, and this will be another corner kick for Atlanta. Firmino, you just see him. Philadelphia tries to converge on him. He says, not so fast, just gets away before Craig comes in and break that up. But Firmino creating some space, which is always important when you're trying to set up people. McFadden into the sun, the header just off the mark. Atlanta asking for a handball. Here's McFadden. McFadden, the cross was looking for Firmino. Stojanovic is there. Well, he had the right idea. Did McFadden, but just little bit too far out in front for Firmino. McFadden working quickly, and yeah, he came right back to this moment. And Firmino on the far side had his arm up. Ball just couldn't get to him. Valero pushes this thing forward. Pierre was in pursuit, but Ray is there to gobble it up. Well, Vicente hasn't been as busy in the second half as he was for the first 45. That's a testament to not only how good Atlanta's been defensively, but how much they've possessed the ball. Olney, and there is Reyes. Don't forget, match day 7 begins next Friday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a full slate of games. MLS Next Pro. Action and availability always live and on demand. Castillo out wide. Castillo into the box. Only was the intended target. It's a hot pass and one that's tough to handle for Olney. Just because of the hop, right? You're looking at the surface, and now Castillo tried playing it to him. Bordella over to Craig. We'll see if Atlanta can push back things and get an insurance marker, but Philadelphia in search of an equalizer. They need it with time winding down this contest. Possession favoring Atlanta at 58%. Well, Raffanello with his bid, but I think he'd like to have that one back. Raffanello has been quiet in this second half. That was his first shot here in half number 2, but he hasn't had the touches. Of course, part of that just goes with the jump that he had in the first 45. And now the tank isn't as full as it once was, understandably so. Only with a chip, not a lot of sauce on it. Stojanovic has it though. Umasi was the one that dragged him down. Stojanovic just rolls over that ball and holds on to it. Pretty much putting the onus on Luis Guardia, the lead official, to call a foul, and he did. Moments like this have been far and few for Philadelphia in the second half compared to the first. So we'll see who takes this free kick. It looks to be Olney. Softly challenges, and we had a takedown inside the box. Brennan trying to high step over Bordella. Let's see if Bordella's given a yellow card. That's exactly the case. Brennan nearly got over him, but spikes up.
Yellow card in the 70th minute, number 35, Gino Portella.
Portella, as you see him there. Yeah, there was no intent to play the ball there, in fact. That's an immediate yellow card. He was doing everything he could to impede the progress of Brennan. Dangerous. McFadden. Slight hesitation. Raffanello. Kicks this one a solid 50 yards. Stojanovic wants to work quickly with Nelson up there. Nelson Pierre, one of a handful of players that have come in the second half for Marlon LeBlanc. Stojanovic, another one. This one dribbling around. Nice play, though, by Morales, holding his ground. As we near our way towards the 72nd minute. Philadelphia has conceded 15 goals in the season. That includes tonight. They have a goal differential of -7, so it is a troubling spot for them to be in early on this season. That one headed on the attempt by Portela. Officials trying to get on the same page to see who this went off of. It looked like it went off of a member of Atlanta. That's exactly the case, so we'll hit rinse and repeat here for Olney in Philadelphia. Philadelphia Union 2, having played 5 games, not including this evening yet, just 1 win. 1-3-1. Olney. And nobody around at all for Philadelphia. That's a poor delivery by Olney. You could not see a soul within 5 feet in white and light blue. Ooh, a nice move here, turning around the corner. Tamimi, Firmino across the other way, did not elect to take the shot. How surprising is that? Firmino had an angle and elected to give it up. Extremely surprising for Firmino. The Brazilian, who's played well on the day, commanded multiple defenders to cut him off. 74th minute. Looks like a couple substitutions now for Atlanta. Alan Carlton enters the fray. So Carlton and Mejia both in.
Entering the match, number 18, Alan Colton.
So David Mejia. Carlton in, Mejia in. This one played around. Diallo trying to use his size to no avail. Mejia so far, he's making his 4th appearance of the year. Hasn't scored a goal or an assist yet. This one played around the box, but nothing doing for Philadelphia. Now they have to retreat quickly. Firmino taken down, and Diallo not happy with the call, but easily had that foot out. Firmino tripped over it. Take a peek at this again. Yeah, Firmino had him beat. clearly had him beat. This portion of the match brought to you by Doubletree Sweets. Carlton in pursuit. That ball and that pass a little too lazy, and Atlanta got away with one there as Philadelphia put this one out of harm's way, but it's going to result in another corner kick. Vicente Reyes working on his second clean sheet of the season. First one was just last week against Chicago. Atlanta signed him to a short-term deal. Mejia, who just came in moments ago on service. Morales was dropped. Only switching sides of the pitch, but a good job by Atlanta maintaining possession on it. Looked like there was a few players that were offside. And Rick quickly on the restart trying to counter with Castillo. Castillo just no velocity on that pass. Was looking for Raffanello, but was better off putting air underneath it. Stojanovic got numbers. Stojanovic did not look for the trailer. I'll tell you what, Olney is pleading his case now. As we go back to the sequence, Stojanovic, if he has any kind of field awareness, Olney, the trailer, as you go back to this, Olney, he's separated by a good 10 yards. Stojanovic, all he needs to do is settle it down and pass it back to the top of the 18. Got to imagine Olney was communicating that and could not. Game could be and should be tied, but it's not the case. '78th minute. Firmino dancing a bit. Firmino, one move, a second one, that one blocked by Craig, nicely done. Firmino maintaining his footing. Mejia again. Some real estate, he pulls the trigger, blocked on the way through. Nicely done by Portela this time. Craig wants the stymie, and then Portela sticks with it for Philadelphia. Convergence here, the cross, that was dangerous. So two chances for Atlanta and one here for Philadelphia. And back and forth we go. Take a look at this moment. Morales getting beat on the outside, and just a dangerous cross. Did not find the sweet spot. Stojanovic, not his best effort. Raffanello will peel back to Castillo, excuse me. 80th minute now. And the question is, can Philadelphia find an extra gear? They have plenty of fresh faces when we look at it. Substitution-wise, they've brought in 4 players. But they have not created many moments here in the second half to find the equalizer. Of course, all you need is one, but the chances haven't been there. Shots right now, 8-5 in favor of Philadelphia. Each team has 3 shots on net. Tell you what, this could be 2-0 Atlanta, but Craig and Portela was the 2 defenders that broke up attempts. We're about 8 yards out. Atlanta trying to improve their winning streak to 3 matches. Tell you one thing, although they scored here in the first 45 minutes of action tonight, they have not sat back in the lead. They have actually played and tried to find a second goal, which is great, especially for a young team trying to develop, trying to build, trying to look for that killer instinct. Carlton taken out. Valero, Raffanello. Raffanello gets around the corner. Raffanelli shoots and Reyes with a good stop. Tell you what, Vicente did not panic in that sequence. And Raffanello, who did a great job of beating Morales with that hook. You see it there? That right arm? Raffanello, he had a moment to settle it down, but just a brief moment. So that's why he elected to take the shot as opposed to stopping. Still 1-0. Morales, he was tied up with Raffanello. No harm, no foul. Dangerous pass there. Well, for a match being only 1-0, I'll tell you what, this could easily be a 4-3, 5-4 contest. It's been that good. The chances have been there. Alex Perez coming in now for Raffanello. Marlon LeBlanc continuing to move pieces around. So Perez in, Raffanello's day is over with. And Jeremy did everything he could. He was on the ball a lot, especially in the first 45 minutes today. But Philadelphia had a problem scoring and also an issue with defending. Brennan, speaking of that, good strip, but Brennan, did he keep it in bounds? He did somehow. It didn't look like it was out for Mino. So Atlanta maintained possession here. Tight quarters, Carlton. Umasi peels back. And now Reyes. 84th minute in this portion of the match, brought to you by Truist. Atlanta leading right now 1-0. Lone marker came from Kareem Tamimi in the 40th minute. Nick Firmino, his first assist of the year, set it up. It felt like a long time ago. But I promise you there's been plenty of action back and forth. Pierre asking for it. Nelson has it now. Nelson with the bid to cross to Olney, cut off. Looking for Stojanovic. Stojanovic on goal. Reyes with a good stop and a small rebound, but he covers that up too. Well, they're not settling. They're trying to create. You see Pierre, he knew he had a step, and in search of Stojanovic. Just enough elevation, but not a lot of juice in that shot. And again, Reyes doing a great job of reading the ball well off the shooter. Whether it's a header or right or left-footed strike. Vicente Reyes has been stout in net here today for Atlanta. He's working on his second clean sheet of the year in as many contests. Castillo, A little bit of English on that shot as it goes sweeping in to Reyes. 86th minute. I don't know. We could flip a coin now to see who you think the play of the match is. It could be Vicente Reyes, or it could be Kareem Tamimi. Mejia. I got a yellow card here. And it's going to go against Luke Brennan. Valero didn't like it. But Brennan in the 86th minute with the booking. Pierre here working, only. Stojanovic again in the bid, but Reyes cuts that thing off at the pass. Firmino here grabs the corner. Castillo trying to close up space. Brennan and Firmino. Firmino's got an opportunity here. Carlton turn that edge. Firmino close but no cigar. Diallo on the intercept and back he comes. 88th minute. Philadelphia looking for some late night heroics. Mossy had it for a moment. Stojanovic here. Pierre. Mossy, great job holding things down. The defense pretty sharp there by Westfield. Haven't called Francis's name a whole lot here in the second half. Not to say that his efforts have been uninspiring, just hasn't had a lot of activity on his side of the pitch, which is a good thing. But Mejia hauled down there, so it sets things up for a set piece just a little bit outside the 18 for Atlanta. 89th minute. Now everyone for Atlanta looking just to calm things down and kill some clock. Second half has only had a moment or two of lull, and I mean that just with an injury or two or a booking. First half we had 2 minutes of stoppage time. We'll see what the fourth official, Joshua Belk, throws up on the clock here in a couple moments. Pierre. Drop past the right-hand side, working long. Olney here. Olney in the 90th minute. Olney plays it back the opposite way where it came. That should be ruled offside, and it finally does occur. Everyone for Atlanta asking for the far side official. Throw that flag up, and he finally does. Looks like about 3 minutes of stoppage time. Atlanta, after this one, will go to Inter Miami. They have them on May the 7th. Inter Miami, too, that is. Philadelphia They'll continue with their road trip. After today, they go to New York and then to Miami.
3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes.
Atlanta wins today. It'll be their third victory in 3 matches. And they move up the ladder board in the Eastern Conference. Firmino had a right attempt on that, but the Brazilian just a little too low on that feed. Olney has Pierre near the 6. Valero was a trailer. Castillo. Olney. You got 3 players for Philadelphia getting covered pretty well. Turning, passing, that one played through, but with plenty of contact. Philadelphia asking for a foul. Nothing called. Firmino tries to make a move. He gets taken out by Craig. It's a delicate spot for Atlanta defensively, and Philadelphia try to put it on the official. Speaking of putting it on, Craig here getting that right foot out and nearly cutting Firmino in half. That's a lot of meat. Down he goes. So make sure you hang out with us at the conclusion of this match. We'll have our Adidas man of the match. It's a toss-up between Karim Tamimi and Vicente Reyes for the time being. Assuming this ends with Atlanta winning at 1-0. Pierre, oh, he just could not settle it down. Masi switches the pitch, and Atlanta perfectly content with volleying this ball back and forth. No sense of hurry up. Steve Cook. Would imagine probably happy with the result today. Marlon LeBlanc can't be too upset, even if it does end 1-0 in favor of Atlanta. Stojanovic almost came to intercept that pass that was intended for Reyes. Luis Guardia watching his stopwatch, if you will. Broken up nicely again. And McFadden and Luis Guardia does blow the final whistle. We have reached full time. So they've gone back to back to back with victories, and Atlanta United 2 off the strong bout today from Vicente Reyes records a second clean sheet of the season, and Karim Tamimi with his first marker of the year in the 40th minute. The difference maker in this one is we now turn to the man of the match presented by Adidas. Man of the match is Karim Tamimi. Nick Firmino was the one that set him up. Firmino's first assist of the year, but here is Tamimi. See that pivot and the right foot, a bullet into the right-hand corner. 40th minute for Tamimi. Gets Atlanta on the board and himself. Pockets the only goal of the affair. And Atlanta United 2 wins this thing 1-0. And Karim Tamimi is our Adidas man of the match. So Atlanta wins it. They improve their record now to 3-2-1 on the season. And for Philadelphia, tough luck loser on the day. They fall to 1-4-1. So that's going to wrap things up here from Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kenosha, Georgia, where Atlanta prevails again today. They take care of Philadelphia. Tamimi, the game-winning goal in the 40th minute. He gets things done. And Atlanta prevails 1-0. Atlanta up next with Inter Miami. They'll get things done on May the 7th. And the flip side of things, New York and Philadelphia, they will also meet on May the 7th. This is David Gascon saying so long Kennesaw, Georgia. Atlanta wins it 1-0. Have a wonderful Sunday night, everyone. So long.
This copyrighted broadcast of MLS Next may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.